We are all about facts, not fear, and providing you good information to keep you and your loved ones safe. Our favorite Dr. Kohli joins us today. Oh, we match, kind of, finally. We did it. We did it together.
We do match, but you're pulling off those puffy sleeves, I have to tell you.
It's not true. She's lying right through her teeth. I look ridiculous. Before we get to our viewer questions, the president's personal valet, Doc, just tested positive for COVID-19. Do you now think it's hit so close to home that the White House could be changing their policies?
Yeah, Tori, this is a really significant development because for the first time, someone so close to the president, the vice president, and the first family has tested positive. And now this is a person who handles the president's food, his personal belongings, and is in touch with the rest of the White House staff as well. We do know that the president and vice president tested negative this morning, but we also know that the incubation period of this virus is 14 days, which means the next 14 days continue to pose a high-risk period. So this really begs two questions. The first is whether the White House should be instituting a universal mask policy, because even though their staffers are being tested regularly, we've just proven that it's possible that somebody could be positive and spread it to others. Yeah. And then the second question that it really begs to ask is whether the president, vice president, other White House members should actually be isolating for the next 14 days. Because if any one of us came into contact with somebody that was positive, that would be the medical advice, that you have to isolate to make sure that, you don't end up testing positive for the virus later and inadvertently spreading it to others during that time period.
We'll see what they do.
All right, Doc, we are short on time, so let's get through these viewer comments. Howie writes, while I feel quite normal, I continue to read that everyone should be tested. What factors impact whether or not a person should be tested for COVID-19?
So not everyone needs a test. There's really three main groups that need to be tested. So the first is those that are high pretest probability of having the infection. So they have symptoms, they've had an exposure to COVID-19, or they're frontline workers like healthcare workers or grocery store workers. The second group is those that have had prior symptoms. You couldn't get a test at the time, but you now want to see if that was COVID or not. That can be the antibody test. And then the final group, which is yet to be determined how we're going to select those, is a group called surveillance testing, which is a random sampling of the population just to see how many asymptomatic people are out there.
Okay. Our final viewer question comes from Tommy. She asks, can Dr. Kohli tell us what's the latest in the vaccine testing? Are you happy about maybe a September vaccine, you think? Oxford group?
I think that's incredibly optimistic, and I'm going to stick with Dr. Fauci on this one, who says that probably the earliest, even that is optimistic, is actually a January timeline. So there's several phases of vaccine development, and even after a vaccine has proven efficacious, you have to distribute it, manufacture it, and get it into people's arms. So I think we really should be thinking next year.
January. She said efficacious. Did you hear that?
I did.
So you want some change for that $5 word? All right, before we go, it's time for everyone's favorite Dr. Kohli silver lining. Hit us, Al.
Silver lining, y'all.
What's the good news?
Good one. So this is actually coming from our town right here in Denver, you guys. So, testing and tracing are the ways we're going to get ourselves out of this mess, out of this epidemic. And what Denver has done is instituted a mobile van testing unit that's offering free testing. And the advantage is that the sick people don't actually have to leave their house and potentially expose others to risk and inconvenience themselves. The van comes to your house and tests you, and it's free. Wow. So I think that's an awesome thing, and I hope more cities start to do that.
That's amazing. I also want to just bounce off that and say thanks to the truck drivers and the people driving those cars. I mean, all the truck drivers you see out there that are making our country work, we really want to give a shout out. That is good news, right?
That's really good news.
Really good news. All right, Denver. Thank you. Of course, Dr. Kohli will be back tomorrow. So if you have a question about coronavirus you want answered by the doc, write us on social media or email us at info@dailyblastlive.com. There is no panic, just prevention, precaution, and a lot of puffy sleeves.